For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Newspin calling, 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 calling. Newspin calling, 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 calling. Newspin calling, 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 calling. Across the land, all across the world, echoes of voices, we join hand in hand. Harmony rise in the afternoon sun. Come along, Newspin has begun. Newspin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Truth from St. Lucia to sandy shores, from cities and hills to the Caribbean breeze. We sing together, hearts at ease, education to open every mind. Learn about your country, leave no one behind. When we Newspin is on your radio, come along hands in hands, voices in unity, singing loud. Newspin, who's the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. St. Lucian's heart to the world's every land. Knowledge unites us hand in hand. Yeah, Tim on Newspin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Tim on Newspin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Newspin is on education for all, from city streets to mountains tall. Learn your history, share your dreams, together we light the world with our flame. Newspin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Newspin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world. Yeah, Newspin is the best, better than all talk show, most monitored talk show in the world.
Welcome to another edition of the broadcast. My name is Timothy Poleon. Of course, we go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Jante is here, already going through your comments in the chat rooms, and she'll be having some updates for us. Hello to you as you monitor the program via Power 97.9 FM the Newspin Facebook page as well as the Newspin YouTube channel. As always, please don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell, and that is to help the channel grow. We hope you're having yourself an enjoyable and a fantastic Wednesday. So the Prime Minister of St. Lucia says, if he has to go to Timbuktu to get water for you, he will do that. Timbuktu is somewhere in Mali. What would Sir John Compton, he's alive right now, no longer the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, and he's on retirement, away from all the political squabbles. He's a statesman and he's listening to Newspin. What do you think he would make of such a comment? That we have reached a stage where a Prime Minister of St. Lucia is saying that if he has to go to Timbuktu, he will do that just to fetch water for you. But can you recall, it was Sir John Compton, the main architect of modern St. Lucia, who was integrally involved in the construction of that dam. Yeah, the John Compton Dam. Completed in 1995. And you could see the photograph of Sir John Compton there, getting his hands dirty, carrying the pipes. Maybe not for that dam, but maybe some other water project. But he was a hands-on individual. He was a proud St. Lucian leader. He had foresight. And that's why for the next century, and maybe beyond, we would have to continue to make reference to this great leader of ours, because he was not reactive to the extent that there are some people around him, in particular on the opposition benches, who always failed to say things from his perspective. When he wanted to construct the tunnel just off the Latok Road there, near what was once the Victoria Hospital, you know what some people said? He had tunnel vision. He had tunnel vision. And now those same people, those who have lands and property in that area, they're benefiting from that vision. We'll talk about reclaiming land in the north of the island, where you have Rodney Bay and Cap Estate, etc. So we need people of vision. Not somebody who can say, without any gumption, without any qualms, that if they have to go to Timbuktu to fetch water, they will do it for you, the people of St. Lucia, as if that is something to boast about. Irrespective of the excuse that we are using right now about climate change, let me show you what's happening in Dominica. Let me show you a video. And St. Lucians are involved in that project. Huge tanks to store water. But I hope that you're not just listening to the broadcast, you're watching via Facebook and YouTube as well. The Prime Minister is prepared to singly focus on you, the ordinary folks, asking you to store water. harvest rainwater. But where is the bigger plan? As the head of the country, yes, harvest your water, people. We want you to harvest your water. And as somebody would say ever so often, when a challenge is posed to him, he would say, and I will not tell you who that person is, passed away a few years ago. What's so classical about that? Honestly, what is so classical? What is so novel about saying to you what you have been doing for eons, that you should harvest rainwater? Our grandparents do it, great-grandparents do it, or did it. We bathed in the rain. So what's so new about rain harvesting? There's nothing new about this. Nothing visionary about this. So you're calling on the people of St. Lucia to harvest rainwater. But what is WASCO doing on a grander scale? One that will have an impact on the wider St. Lucian society. Let's think big. Yesterday somebody was urging me to think deep, go deep. Lee Kuan Yew. It appears that, our leaders of today do not want to aspire to do things on a grand scale. But what would Lee Kuan Yew do? What would Sir John Compton, George Melvin Compton do right now? Look to import water from Dominica. Those of you who are old enough would knew of the exploits of Daddy Compton. You think a man of that ilk, a proud individual, would subject himself to importing water from Dominica? Does that make sense to you? And we do it without any shame. Now, the Prime Minister makes constant reference to the hospitality sector. Without my doing, he says, we are not the ones paying for it. The folks in the hospitality sector, they have had enough. I think it's out of not spoken to them. I think acting out of frustration and realizing that WASCO cannot meet the demands, whether it's raining, whether we're in the dry season, just cannot meet the demands. Decided to take the bull by the horns, take matters into their own hands, and say, boy, we have a business to run. Some people have a country to run. We have a business to run. We have our members who have been suffering over several years now, decades. We have a business to run. What's the alternative? Import water. So at least they did something to quench the thirst of their members so that the businesses will not suffer. That's what they did. And shame on any government that finds itself in that predicament, in that position, whereby the private sector has to say that we are frustrated, we have had enough. You really can't stand up to the challenge. We'll go elsewhere. So you're saying climate change is only affecting St. Lucia? And it's not affecting Dominica? Yes, Dominica has so many rivers, but if you do not take care of the resources that God has given to you, what you'll do is just manage the shortcomings of our country that you have presided over several decades without finding remedies. You knew for a very long time now that Wasco's infrastructure is archaic. It's old. What did you do about it? And this dates back to the current Prime Minister, most readied Prime Minister, being a part of several SLP administrations. 1997 to 2001, 2001 to 2006. The SLP came back in 2011 to 2016. He came back this time as the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, 2021, called elections in 2025, and he is back at the helm of the government. And we have to import water. And if he has to go to Timbuktu, he will do it. Here is the Prime Minister.
I think the water situation in this country has been diluted by some utterances, very much diluted for selfish purposes, diluted deliberately. Let's get about barging water from Dominica. I was clear that the hotel was seen about it. And I'm going to make it abundantly clear for all those who have ears, let them hear. If the people of St. Lucia need water and I have to barge it from Timbuktu, I will do it. Let me say it again. If the people of St. Lucia need water, and I am the Prime Minister, and the people need water, I will barge it in from Timbuktu if I have to.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. Very soon, might sound like an exaggeration, but very soon we may have to also import green fig, green bananas from Dominica. Does it make sense to you? And dash in ground provisions from Dominica. Isn't that possible? And now we have an agriculture minister who is more preoccupied with Newspin than taking care of the business of the country. Isn't that possible? Those are possibilities. But honestly, let that sink in. We're importing agua, water, from Dominica. So the Dominicans, when we meet them, they have something on us. Boy, mister, these days we giving you water, you know. Let's listen to Marcella Johnson speaking during a press conference earlier today on that water crisis.
And here is the stark reality. Reports are that we are now having to import water. In a country like ours with a rainy season, we are now having to import water from Dominica just to keep businesses supplied, residents supplied. Imagine that, importing water from another country when this government failed to manage our resources effectively. Import water from Dominica because this government failed to act. Just remember that.
Marcella Johnson of the Opposition United Workers' Party speaking earlier today during a press conference of the UWP. Social services failing a particular mother and a daughter as well. That's a story we aired last evening during the DBS News World. There are so many conferences in St. Lucia focusing on gender-related issues, the plight of women in our country, the plight of girls. And governments would boast from time to time that they are party to so many conventions, they have so many workshops trying to educate various agencies, including the police, on how to respond to certain challenges pertaining to girls, pertaining to the women of this country, and so on. You would think, that by now, our social services, our various agencies would be well placed to deal with those problems. And you have government ministers boasting of so many shelters we have and homes for the girls and for the women, etc. And you still have a situation where a woman has to turn to the media, has to turn to DBS television. Why? Out of frustration. And hoping somehow that maybe those agencies that should be equipped to deal with her concerns will be embarrassed and will come up with some kind of solutions. Will put certain things to gobble up a few things together. So let's listen to this report, which was filed and aired last evening during the DBS News World by Miriam Motut.
A mother is pleading for help, claiming protective services have failed her. She says she has struggled with her 15-year-old's violent behavior for years, but the situation has reached a breaking point. The mother adds that the teen is currently facing potential expulsion from school after a video surfaced online showing her with a firearm. The mother's desperation peaked the last time her daughter took flight from her home. She eventually tracked her daughter to a classmate's home.
I went in the room to speak to the child. The child told me the reason the child did not come home that Friday is because when she noticed the time, it was late already. She knew I would have gotten upset. She was everywhere looking for somebody with a firearm to kill me. When she didn't get that, she decided, okay, she's not going to come home. Then she further said the child bought poison to kill me on 2 occasions. The first time she said, I did not drink the tea or something of that nature. The police came back to the room, they said it, she said, okay, well, she had some disturbing news and the child said this and that. My daughter never denied it. My daughter said she bought the poison, she didn't pour it, that was it.
Unconfirmed reports are the daughter threatened to take the mother's life. The matter was reported to the police.
The Friday I spent the whole day at the VPT. They told me to find a place for the weekend. On the Friday, that's Monday, the following Monday, we're going to sort things out. I did that, I begged somebody, they held the person. The person who the child was with said the child did not come out of the room. The child was like basically just in the room. She don't even know what the child thinking, and I would feel the same way too. That Monday, which was yesterday, I went back to the VPT. I spent the entire day there. They tell me the social worker is at court. He is at court. When he comes back, he going to come to me. When he came back, he's asking me to assist him in finding a place to put the child. But I'm like, but that child is threatening my life. I'm threatened for my life. The child is trying everything. Up until the first day the child did not come to school, the child was everywhere. The same thing, looking for people to come and do things to me. The child have threatened to burn the house. I have a 2-year-old daughter. The child have put substance in drink for the child. That social worker is aware of that. Everything that happened, I tell him. But he told me, whilst we're there, he try and find somebody, everybody he find, they tell him they cannot. And I don't blame anybody because I would not want that child around me.
The mother says after unsuccessful attempts to get help from the social worker on Monday, she received a call from the police informing her they were bringing the child back to her home.
My son, you don't understand what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you. The child has threatened to kill me more than once. The child have it in writing. The school can say yes, the child has said it. The probation officer saying yes, the child has said it. She do not like me and she want to kill me. And you're telling me I'm supposed to harbor that child. I went back to VPT last night. Going back to VPT, they keep telling me even if they charge the child, they do not have a place to put the child, and that's the reason they have not charged the child. I'm like, but I'm in danger and you're telling me to harbor the child, and if it's when the child die, if it's when I die, you're going to tell me you're going to find something to do. The lady was like very dismissive. It's like, basically they do not have a place to put the child, so that is why they cannot hold the child, they cannot house the child.
The mother says she is now living in a state of constant fear and exhaustion, claiming she has exhausted every available state avenue for assistance without any success. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Report was filed last evening and aired during the DBS News World. What if something were to happen to this mother or the daughter at a press conference? The system has failed this lady. The system has failed this young lady. The system has failed this woman. We will endeavor to put, the favorite word, mechanisms in place so that things of that nature do not happen again. 452 2979 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026 716-2026. It's your turn, and let's hear from you at this time. And let's see if we have some of your WhatsApp messages in the meantime to go through. And what you're saying there, somebody says there, PJP seems to be on a wild goose chase, going all the way to Timbuktu to fetch water for St. Lucians. It's ironic that they've been complaining about the water situation for ages, only to realize now that there is a crisis. Where have they been hiding? Under a rock, sleeping? And another WhatsApp message, it says there, by the time he barged the water from Timbuktu to St. Lucia, we'll all be dead by then. What a man. Okay, another one says there via WhatsApp, greetings Tim and all the listeners and your co-workers. I spoke to a minister. He's always reminding us that we are a third world nation. Like seriously, these ministers of the day are in no sense to uplift St. Lucians in any way for the betterment of all. The only concern is to enrich themselves, families, friends, and jabals, driving the most expensive vehicles, building their own homes and businesses, period. All who wants to believe the sweet talk, that's them, not me. And that's according to a WhatsApp message. And another WhatsApp message says, Tim, today is 15 days since we had water in our pipes in Bogies. The river is full right now. Tell me, what excuse Wasco has for the Bogies people? Well, as we speak, I think they might have just ended the press conference earlier today to update reporters, and this evening on DBS should have a comprehensive report from Wasco with regard to the ongoing water shortages on the island. Realize when it rains, no water. No rain, no water. If you have a deluge, a heavy downpour, no water. Why no water? Because the water is brown. Talk about high turbidity and all that. Another WhatsApp message, and somebody says there, PJP is setting this. Okay, let's take a call instead. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is Newspin. You are on the air. Hello.
Timothy Poleon.
Oui, good afternoon to you, Alisco. Turn down the volume of whatever device you are using to listen to the program.
That's the first time I ever did that. I'm walking away from...
You're not supposed to do that at all, Alisco. You're calling too many talk shows to know the rule by now. Okay?
No, I'm telling you.
I don't care.
Away
I'm telling you that's not supposed to happen to you. Why to talk show? What's in your mind now? Let's go.
Timothy Poleon, I don't understand what's going on concerning this lady and her daughter. The government just complete a police station in Grozile. How many million? 26 million?
More than that, 30-something million, Nicola.
And the police are saying they don't have a place to keep the child. So it's when she killed her mother, then they will come and say, all kind of nonsense. I just don't understand. Quand ils se comme n'a dit, c'est là, je vois là qui te le tuer. C'est là qu'a tué. You know, I want to comment about what's going on with Donald Trump, but to me, it's not making sense because it doesn't matter what anybody say, it's not changing nothing. Right now, they're having some conference with Democrat against Republican.
Okay, here's what to do.
Yeah.
Call CNN. Because since that's Donald Trump and the Republican and the Democratic Party and so on, call CNN. Don't call Newspin on that issue with Donald Trump. Make sense?
No, like I say, I wanted to make a comment, but it's not making no sense. So I just make a short comment.
Okay.
You know, because I cannot change anything. But right now, my concern is this child and the mother. There are so many other things going on in St. Lucia. I can't comment because your program is very important. I don't take too much time on your program. So that's it for it. Have a nice day.
Okay, Alice, good. Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says PJP is setting this up as a hypothetical. If the people of St. Lucia need water, I'm prepared to go to Timbuktu. Mr. Philip J. Pierre, this is not a hypothetical. Have you not been listening? St. Lucians need water urgently, and you seem not to be able to even to go get it from Roseau. Why should we believe your canard that you are prepared to go abroad? I am convinced that our current Prime Minister is more interested in being a figurehead like a Governor General than an actual policymaker, a real solution-oriented leader, an actual leader rather than a reactionary, glorified figurehead who relishes in pomp and circumstance and gaudy ceremony, but is devoid of any creativity, forward thinking, or interest in leadership. The future of our island is dim at best, not just because of poor or absent leadership, but even more so because of a population too ignorant, blind, and divided to see the edge of the cliff on which they currently stand. PJP can't get water from Roseau across the island's communities, 14 or more miles away, but we are to believe that he's able or motivated to get water from Timbuktu. May I read that again? I will. PJP is setting this up as a hypothetical. If the people of St. Lucia need water, I'm prepared to go to Timbuktu. Mr. PJP, this is not a hypothetical. Have you not been listening? St. Lucians need water urgently, and you seem not to be able to even go get it from Roseau. Why should we believe your canard that you are prepared to go abroad? I am convinced that our current Prime Minister is more interested in being a figurehead, like a Governor General, than an actual policy maker, a real solution-oriented leader, an actual leader rather than a reactionary, glorified figurehead who relishes in pomp and circumstance and gaudy ceremony, but is devoid of any creativity, forward thinking, or interest in leadership. The future of our island is dim at best, not just because of poor or absent leadership, but even more so because of a population too ignorant, blind, and divided to see the edge of the cliff on which they currently stand. PJP can't get water from Roseau across the island's communities 14 or more miles away, but we are to believe that he's able or motivated to get water from Timbuktu. And that's according to a WhatsApp message. You have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you, sir. You are on the air.
Tim.
Yes, Rick Wayne.
Let me try to correct something very quickly. I listened to you yesterday, but you know what I'm doing. What I'm doing at the moment, what's engaging me. So I perhaps didn't listen as carefully as I ought to have. But I heard somebody mention my brother, and then I'm seeing some idiotic comments on Facebook suggesting that I had directed my brother, who was then in charge of the SSU, to abandon what was going on in the boulevard, the famous blow up in the boulevard. And I in fact had suggested to him to get the police back to their barracks. Did somebody say that?
The last comment you made reference to, it was not made on this broadcast, but reference was made to your deceased brother being the head of the SSU at the time of that upheaval, that 1979 situation in the
Tim, I heard exactly what you just said there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's correct. But to read on Facebook by ostensibly responsible people that I was a hot shot in the Labour Party at the time. I've never been a hot shot in the Labour Party at the time. I either supported or I didn't support. Okay, and I was very much against everything that led to that thing in the Boulevard. I'm on record, newspaper as well as books, and I've spoken about it many times. Kenny Anthony was not either. A number of guys, Josie was not either, although he found out late. A lot of people who don't read, who have never read, who are incapable of understanding even when they read, are the people dominating airways these days, Tim. And they cause so much trouble. They cause so much unnecessary animosity. And they're so busy pulling people back in reverse. They ain't got it. They're stupid people who have a toy called the media, and they're doing very, very dangerous work. And the governments, I say government because they have the authority, but the politicians, but in particular the governments, depending on what these idiots say, actually endorse it tacitly by saying nothing. I have always thought what happened in that boulevard, and you can bear me out, was an awful thing to happen, that nobody paid a price. There was never an investigation. Millions of dollars damage was done, and the country has not recovered from what happened that time. We became semi-animals after that. No respect for any authority, no respect for standards, nothing at all. It all really blew up from there, Tim. I think you might remember me saying that many times. We were involved in a crossroads there, and we took the wrong thing. So I'm happy to I think it was deliberate anyway. I don't think it was just ignorance. I think it was underestimating the intelligence of your listeners, intelligence of St. Lucians, intelligence of those of us who read and care, to suggest that I had caused my brother to take the police back to barracks. They were ordered back to barracks by George Odlum. I'm not even going to put it onto Labour Party Luigi, because Luigi stood by there having driven in the dark, more or less, and horrible road from Labrie back to Castries. And a group of us were standing there with Luigi, and know what Luigi said, how kerfuffle Luigi was. Luigi was lost. This was an all George Odlum activity. Okay. Kenny Anthony was there too. He can talk about it. He too was flustered by what went on. So I am where I will put blows on the then Labour Party is that they did nothing about George. They did nothing about the police, who should have been on duty, and etc. So I guess the Labour Party has to take some of it. But the individual behind it was George. Now, Tim, I want quickly to say, since I haven't been calling you, I want quickly to say that if it were possible for some of the, including George, some of the people who have gone, the guys who used to motivate things, the guys who used to cause things to happen, whether wonderful or not, but they caused things to happen, the influencers of the day. If those guys came back, and I'm talking about the writers as well, people like Irvin Reed, whose son is now in Mia Martley's Senate.
Administration, yes, in the government.
Yeah, Irvin Reed's son. He used to write for the Star. And so on. If all those guys were to come back now, I wonder if they would be against the idea of changing everything that is going on in the country, almost, and I'm going to be very careful with my words, almost to the point of doing it by force, if possible. Because everything, we know today that everything we have done from colonial times to now has proved futile, Tim. We are where we are based on decisions we took. The influences of outside people work based on our weakness, based on our fighting each other, based on our inability to have a common cause. We're now at war with the Prime Minister from Trinidad. We're at war with one another periodically based on who said what, and et cetera, et cetera. And all that's coming out of that is nothing but reverse. You know, it's obvious the system we're operating on is wrong. It's counterproductive. I hate the right and wrong. Parliament is counterproductive, the way it's composed and comprised. The rules of Parliament are not suited to us. You cannot have a speaker being so blatantly connected with his party, etc., and doesn't give a damn if he appears to be prejudiced. The way opposition people are treated, all of those things are not. Rick Wayne, it's not only Rick Wayne. Kenny Anthony, when he returned to office, I think in 2011, one of the first things he emphasized was that the treatment of the opposition must change. That while in opposition, that occurred to him that we cannot continue to treat the opposition as we have been doing all those years and expect to benefit. Do you recall that?
Yes, I can recall.
That was the time. That is the time when he famously offered an olive branch. I'm using his words to King. Remember that?
Yeah.
So as far back as 2011, a prime minister was recognizing that the system we operate under here is counterproductive. It is not going to bring anything good, and it's only going to bring bad by splitting people up who should be working together. We have a common cause now of water, let's say. CIP did not create the water supply problem, but he's in charge of dealing with it. So I'm not taking any responsibility out of it. But isn't that
Hello? Suspect we have lost Rick. I'm sure that he will try to get the line to complete his contribution. Let's see if we can reconnect with him. Okay, I think we have also lost him. Maybe through some technical issue on his end, he's not able to complete his contribution, but we await his call. Let's turn my attention now to you, Janti. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon, Tim. Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, the PM and SLP never had a strategic plan for the water sector. They never have any strategic plans. All SLP does is live off of infrastructural developments of UWP planned and implemented.
Let's see if Rick is back on the line. Okay, we'll try again to see. Yeah, Rick? Yes,
Hello?
Rick. Yes, Rick, you're on. You're talking about.
You dismiss me there,
No, I didn't. You're not one of the callers. I'll do that too, Rick. But let's.
I know that.
Yeah, let's. You're talking about the water situation.
I was talking about common cause. Water is in fact life. I have a tank, but I don't even know when the tank is full or not, because without that kind of tank, I don't know how people determine when the tank is full or how much water is in it. Maybe I have the wrong kind of tank. Can you see in your tank when you have water or not?
At my height, no, I can't. But anyway.
Well, exactly. I think the tanks ought to have some way of people being standing on the ground and to be able to see how much water they have.
Yeah,
but anyway, I am a water harvester. I'm a water harvester, and I also buy water for other reasons, etc., etc. So I'm not yet short, but I look forward to being short if things are going as they are.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, when you have a country without water, and the Prime Minister of the day has to order water, that is not sustainable. Number one, it is not sustainable because the Prime Minister cannot control how long the drought, so to speak, is going to be existing. Am I right?
You're correct.
So we should have had water, but there's a good reason, quite apart from climate change, why we don't have water. We screwed it up. We didn't take care of pipes. We didn't take care of our rivers. We didn't take care of trees we cut down and rainforests. We contributed to where we are with the water. I am not saying it's totally us, climate change, and we also must, it seems we have only one basket with all our eggs in it in terms of tourism. I am not knocking tourism. One of the side effects, we need tourism, but we should have known when we were planning, and all those years of tourism since, we should know that one of the things tourism does is it takes from the people things that are primary in their lives. It interferes with their water supply. Water that should be going to the people of the country are going for the sustaining of tourism. Am I right?
You are absolutely correct, Rick. But more than that, Rick.
Right.
Rick, more than that. We have some of the brightest people in the public service.
I disagree. You have no evidence.
I said we have some. So we have bright people everywhere. In the police force, we have some bright people there. We have some bright people everywhere. In health sector, etc.
No evidence.
Yeah.
No evidence.
All right. We have somebody who was gifted and talented in the whole sustainable development issue and climate change in Dr. Jimmy Fletcher. Dr. Fletcher was a former sustainable development minister responsible for public utilities, and he would have spoken ad nauseum on that issue. Several other people, your Giles Romulus, and those agriculturalists and conservation people, Coco Charles, etc.
Let's really go back. Coco
Right?
Charles.
And you're saying that
the gentleman who died, 1 minute, Tim.
Yeah.
The gentleman who died not so long ago, what's his name? Gregor Williams.
yes. And we have spoken about this at so many levels, governmental levels, NGO, etc. And today we have to import water from Dominica. That's an indictment on us. That is a total waste of talent.
No, it is looking at in the mirror. It is looking at the mirror. But the fact that we have to buy water from them, import water from Dominica, is just a sign. But I was making the point, we cannot even come together and understand what that means as a people, to think about it as a people with a common interest in water, to talk about water, to talk about this drought, I'm calling it a drought, like one people. No, we are fighting over whether the Prime Minister should do the right to do this or that, not what brought us there and what will keep us there, and not only water, but in everything else that we do. That is the point, Tim. When we talk about accountability, it's not just accountability for CIP. We are a bunch of effing morons. I'm getting really angry with us. We will talk nonsense about we can't read. I mean, that thing of my brother yesterday. Morons. And you don't want to take on morons because it makes you a moron. You know what I'm saying, Tim? When you waste your time and intelligence on people who are deliberately stupid or handicapped by stupidity, whether they're faking it or real, you become that. You waste your time, but the price of saying nothing is that other people just might believe them because they're encouraged to believe those people. Accountability, perspicacity, those things don't apply to one thing. We don't care when we take on the planting of bananas for a short period to export bananas. We never take into account what it will cost us. It's only what we might make out of it. And even when we do the bananas, we turn it into politics by putting rocks in things, by causing strikes, by holding things against ourselves. I mean, some of those things I was involved with. And I even in my dotage, I'm smart enough to realize some of the things I engaged in as a observer, participant, etc., because I was also doing my journalism and so on. That I should have followed that. But if I didn't then, Tim, I am reflective now on it and saying, like I'm talking now, that we have to learn from our mistakes. We are a poor region, but together we are a stronger region. When these islands, when they refuse to come together, if only in terms of policy, and this thing about the uniforms they're now wearing, all places like carnival, splitting people up when this is about the worst time to have people fighting against themselves, Tim. The matter of a stupid job pretending you are a servant in the house when every word you say exposes how stupid, unread, uneducated you are. We have about the dumbest people in St. Lucia participating in our politics, Arrogant, stupid, no ability to critically think, lead people down bad roads, and then they get caught up with no answers. That's where we are. And that's the kind of discussion we have to have with passion. I'm not angry. I am passionate about it because we are killing ourselves. The cliche, we are our own worst enemy. Worst enemy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling, Rick. And let me turn my attention to you again to complete what you started, Shanti.
Continuing off of YouTube, Tim, our next comment reads, the SLP government is absolutely clueless on this matter. The responsibility is on the family to take care of their mental ill relatives, not the government. You'll like to pass the buck too much. Another YouTube comment reading, PJP they're talking like he has hot dashing in his mouth, all while Beatties is coming out about the water harvesting. We have these water tanks all over St. Lucia, but they're all empty. Why? UWP will continue losing elections. One Shas, Guy, Spider, and Fede are still members. Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, Tim, you simply need to take regular river water, allow it to flow through a thick layer of crushed stone, collect the runoff, and allow it to go through some UV light, and voila, drinking water. You will never see PJP doing any kind of manual labor, that's for sure. We have another comment here saying, PJP long-sighted, that's why he can see himself in Timbuktu looking for water. Will the water be of no cost? Because the monies will not come out of his pockets. The Prime Minister cannot even go to Viewfort of OKEU to get us better healthcare systems. Is Timbuktu he will be willing to go to for us? Chipston, put that in your pipe and smoke it. We have a few comments here reading T-Boutique PM. So what if a natural disaster happens in Dominica? Sir John George Melvin Compton, the one I know, would never dream of doing this nonsense. Import water? Never. We have another comment here reading, the Prime Minister is asking citizens to harvest rainwater as if we were already not doing it for years. Collect rainwater, and yet still the water bill every month is high while the tap runs dry. No shame at all. PJP brings St. Lucia to its lowest. We have more comments on our Facebook page reading, I am embarrassed of this government. St. Lucia has approximately 185 rivers that deposit millions of cubic meters of water into the ocean. However, the government is unable to implement a plan. Tim, tell the PM and Wasco to explore using horizontal drilling to install the new distribution lines. Horizontal drilling is trenchless and reduces the impact on the environment. We have another comment here saying, do you want a trophy PJP for that low level of thinking? No ministries in the island work accurately. Another is saying, why couldn't the social worker assist? We need answers. I gave you life and trust and believe I will take it back. Where is the facility for troubled children Joachim Henry had promised? We have another comment here saying, what is wrong with the juvenile detention center for youth? They're waiting for blood in order to act. I can agree with you to some degree, but some of these children nowadays, when they can't have their way, they will go the extra mile. This is crazy. Why do we even have social workers? Another Newspinner said, maybe, just maybe, this child has mental issues. Why couldn't a social worker facilitate a meeting with a psychologist? It's sad nowadays in St. Lucia when it comes to the citizens of this country. Nothing is the government's business until it reaches a crisis. We have a few more comments here saying, a child with a great hate for his mother, something is not being said. So the government was able to get a new home for the cows but can't find a home for a child? Caller, we are all against the child. What is going on with this child? Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Jante, for that update. The broadcast continues in just a moment with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. And some people have a few things to say regarding the handling of the Citizenship by Investment program on this, the most monitored talk show in the world.
What happens when the music is stripped down to the truth? On April 29th, First National Bank presents the Teddyson John Experience at the luxurious Royalton Resorts. Raw vocals, live music, real emotion, an intimate night where Teddyson John opens the heart of the music. Also from Trinidad and Tobago, featuring Nyla Blackman. From St. Lucia, Michael Robinson. Herb Black. I'm so sorry. Umpa. And Ricky T. Sharing their stories behind the songs and connects with you up close. This is more than a concert. It's a feeling. Stripped, April 29th. Royalton Resorts, limited seats. One unforgettable night. It's definitely my type of night and my type of vibes.
Tickets for this event are $100 USD, food and drinks inclusive. Ticket locations: Anthony's Jewelry, Castries and Baywalk, The Wave, and online fourcirclestickets.com.
Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with New Select. No more paper, no more mess. Easy billing, no stress. Use my account to pay online. Pay your bill at any time. Get the stress off your mind. No more standing in line.
Visit newselect.com today and sign up to my account to pay your bill. Request a temporary or new connection or switch an account to your tenant's name. Do it all online.
Personal, paperless. Use the virtual service desk. Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with New Select.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow fast pay, flow fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true. With a mortgage built around you, tailored to make sure everything's smooth. 100% financing, it's true. Get a first wish mortgage, it's the best move. Get your mortgage now and fulfill your first wish. Just knowing that First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true.
Visit your First National Bank branch or firstnationalbankonline.com to apply for your first wish mortgage.
At Caribbean Pastors Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique And our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastuche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastuche Limited is located in Bexar, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastuche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
The ultimate Easter Sunday experience is coming as Optimum Events presents Rise 6 Azul. Rise 6 Azul. Shades of blue and unforgettable energy featuring soca sensation Vaughn.
Everybody know what our behavior from July reach in Grenada.
Vaughn live.
Just take a shot when they see me dog. I want to get drunk for the carnival.
The Grenadian bad boy, Vaughn. Also, Ezra, Sly, and the Impulse Band, alongside the best DJs. Easter Sunday, 3 p.m. The Soufre Stadium comes alive. Tickets, $120 regular. More at the door. VIP, $400. Available at the Cell Outlets island-wide. Wings of Love in Castries. Mambo's Bar in Soufre. Or online at fourcirclestickets.com. Powered by VAC Event Production. Power 97.9 FM. Heineken. Bank of St. Lucia. Courts. Bounty Rum. J.P. Shennett. And Blue Waters. On Easter Sunday, we rise.
This is not a time to play politics. I was frankly very disappointed by the statement coming from the Minister of CIP in Parliament, which suggested categorically that the CIP program had nothing to do with the withdrawal of the UK visa-free access, which we have enjoyed for decades. This is unfortunate. Every single person in St. Lucia knows that the CIP program has had a significant bearing on the decision that was taken by the UK. So to attempt to blame St. Lucian nationals only is a very sad state of affairs. It tells me that the government is in self-denial. It tells me that the government hasn't learned its lesson, that what will take us out of the hole that we're in and the troubles that we're in would be the truth and nothing but the truth.
The truth of the matter is that we have a government which has mismanaged a CIP program to the extent that today every St. Lucian faces the reality of having to pay to get a visa to enter the United Kingdom. That's the bottom line. We would have spoken about that ad nauseum in the campaign leading up to the last general election, but everybody was heady with political party politics, taking their eyes off the important issue being, what are the policies that are in the interest of all of us in St. Lucia? So today we are paying a price, a heavy price. Now, I think we need to, and my comment said this morning in this press conference is basically to look at the debt. Not in depth, but just to speak a little bit on, as you would have realized, the government plans to commit St. Lucia further in one sitting to over 600 million EC dollars in debt. We will come to that, but I speak to the CIP program because the CIP program was meant to serve critical purposes in St. Lucia. It was not a program that was meant to meet recurrent expenditure, not a program meant to see about ordinary recurrent activities such as the STEP program or any of those recurrent expenditure programs. These are important programs. Let me not downplay this. These are important programs, but the CIP funds were not meant to go towards those recurrent costs. They were meant to go towards projects that would be transformational for our country and now for our economy. And the debt we're about to contract, that's additional $600 million in debt. Had we managed the CIP program as it ought to have been managed, we would perhaps not be in a position where we would have to commit our country to that level of borrowing and commit the future generations to a level of repayment that they themselves have no responsibility for.
You just heard from Mr. Titus Preville, and before him, you also heard from Mr. Dominic Fady. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let's see if we have a call via WhatsApp. Mr. Producer, maybe you could yes, thank you so much for increasing the volume. Once again, you just heard there Mr. Titus Preville, and before him you heard from Mr. Dominic Fady. All right, let's see. We have a WhatsApp message. Let me go through your messages. Just bear with me. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, Miss Elcock, you are doing a marvelous job. Another one says, the Forestry Department has to air their views as a major player in the water sector. I know for a fact the department has done numerous work throughout the years in terms of water conservation. That's according to a WhatsApp message. And let's see if we have some more of your comments. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, $35 million state-of-the-art police station, and the state has nowhere to keep a miner. Question is, cheaper to get water from the dam than from Dominica. And let's see if we have another message to go through. Just bear with me. We're trying to go through as many of your messages as possible. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, good day, Tim. We are now importing life from Dominica. Make that make sense. Water is life in St. Lucia, our life coming from Dominica. And another WhatsApp message. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, the system failed this mother. I know of a situation similar to that where a mother lost custody of her son. The son steals so badly to the point where the son isn't allowed at the mother's house because he has stolen family members' money. Continues, the father then dropped the son in an abandoned house with no water or electricity. The mother was concerned, so she later sought help from child services. She asked that maybe they put the child somewhere he can learn. They told her they can't do anything for her because the child has not committed a crime. The solution was to have the mother to have the child for the weekend and the father to have the child during the week. However, the child was dropped in a house by himself by the father. And the authorities are aware of that, yet there was no action taken against the father. It seems the authorities wait for the worst to happen before they can take action. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. It says there via WhatsApp, Tim, the people of Plateau, imagine paying water bill every month, and if it wasn't for a community petition, we wouldn't get water for 2 days straight. Now back to the same story. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Somebody also says via WhatsApp, just bear with me, the person says there, Tim, good afternoon, I'm disappointed. I went to Servitec Maritime this morning since the screen of my laptop was flickering. I met with a lady which seemed very professional. I told her of the issue and she went on to say that it can be the laptop needs to be updated. In return, I told her if she can assist me in doing so. Her next question was the laptop purchased from them? I said no. And it goes on and on. So we can't verify this, so I will not continue with this particular WhatsApp message. Let's see there if we have another message to go through. In the meantime, we'll see if we have a call on the landline. So we have a WhatsApp message, and that message reads, up until we stop blaming party and stand together as a united people for the betterment of our country, nothing will change. Politicians win when they divide the people. Stop blaming party and blame ourselves. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Yet another WhatsApp message. Good afternoon, Tim. It's so sad what is happening to this mother and her young daughter. I pray God that this situation does not end up into tragedy. The authorities need to do something quickly. May the Lord intervene on this lady's behalf. And let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Somebody says there, so many hotels are being built and all are dependent on one way or another on the island's water infrastructure. So why can't the government get these developers to invest in a WASCO to provide a more suitable water supply for the people and themselves? Okay, let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Okay, there. Just bear with me, trying to go through as many of them as possible. WhatsApp message says, Tim, by the time he batched the water from Timbuktu to St. Lucia, we'll all be dead by then. What an individual. Okay, another WhatsApp message. The Grosville Station police station is yet in operation despite all the nonsense we saw on the news, saying the station is opened. Ask the authorities to explain. No doubt they are listening, and if they believe that you're worthy of an explanation, I'm sure that they will endeavor to do so. All right, let me turn my attention to you, Shanti. Let's find out what, if anything, is happening in the chat room.
Well, Tim, starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, just last week, the PM of St. Kitts was talking about their strategy to deal with their water situation, and he said that St. Kitts would have to implement water desalination. Another Newspinner said, desalination is expensive. St. Lucia has enough raw water to make millions of gallons a day. On Facebook, our first comment says, well said, opposition. Growing up, we never had all of these water problems, even when we had stand pipes. Tim, have they started importing the water from Dominica?
I think the water should be arriving on the 19th. That is tomorrow. Right?
Because that money can be used to build two other dams, one in Mico and one in Choiseul. We have another comment saying, bravo, Titus. The SLP government has never had foresight. Development does not happen in this country under them. I stopped complaining because a bee does not waste its energy trying to convince a fly that honey is better than stool. Tim, some reporters are just there trying to help PJP to destroy this country. We have a few comments reading, St. Lucia is more developed than Dominica. Imagine now we're begging them to sell water for us. What a shame. You all forgot that Hila said everything that is happening in Dominica was planned in St. Lucia. So, what we get, take. Minister Wig lives at Plateau and there's still no water. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much for that update. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let's take a call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon. Newspin, you are on the air. Hello.
Good day, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good day. My vacation is kind of over, but Tim, Rick, I don't usually challenge Rick, but Rick is going around, literally beating around the bush instead. He call out the Prime Minister's name to hold him accountable. Because when other Prime Ministers in this country, whatever happens, who do you blame, Tim? You blame the leader. You hold the leader accountable. But Rick usually try to deflect that responsibility from people and go all around the place blaming us. And so, Tim, let me just give you a little bit of information. We have no water shortage in St. Lucia, no matter what you hear Wasco saying, and I will tell you why. Our problem with water is management. And so, back in banana days, we had all in the deep in the forest, Tim, we had bananas that would cause, for the lack of water in our rivers. And even then, our rivers were doing better. But after Debbie's, I don't know if you can remember Debbie.
Yeah.
Tropical storm Debbie. Debbie destroyed a lot of rivers. So you don't have what you call the bassin in a lot of those rivers anymore, because they filled with silt and they do not get that kind of heavy, flow to literally, desilt those rivers. The type of desilting we're doing today, team, it is not desilting rivers. I don't know if you've ever gone by the sea, and when you stand up on the beach, you will realize that when the wave comes in, it literally takes away the sun from underneath your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is how you can get to desilt a river. You put boulders in, and the boulders keeps on it develops currents in, and the currents now is what that will wash away that silt into the sea, and that's how you desilt river. No matter how many heavy equipment you put in there, the silt will come right back. But talking about the forest and the rivers right now, if you go to the places where we had bananas before in the forest, most of those places, what you see there is heavy forest. And I'm not talking about small trees. A lot of big trees have grown on those farms, I mean, I'm from the countryside, I can tell you. I go there often. All Maho and these places, you had so much bananas. Right now, if you see the amount of trees that are a lot of those places, farmers use more little plot of land to plant yams and a few banana and those things. We don't get those huge fields that we used to get in the forest before, There are so many what you call the sus, There's an area where my family has land, I went there once. All around, everywhere you go has a small stream going down, what you call a sus. There's so much of that in our forest area. Okay? What needs to be done is proper management. So you do not have those farms, a lot of those farms anymore. The government, who we do not want to blame, needs. Why am I even giving them advice anyway? But there are places with so much water in the forest that can be harvested. I was reading something on Facebook a while ago where Mandy Lewis was telling another person, it is cheaper to barge water from Dominica to the hotel than to truck water from the south to the hotels. But the other person was asking, why can't you use that same barge to bring water from the south to the north, which would definitely cost, which is shorter than coming from Dominica, And then the response was going like, it will deplete our water levels in the south. You understand? But there are so many places in the south that you can do water harvesting. I'm not talking about your home, I'm talking about the government building storage facilities, tanks in the forest area that can hold so much water from those sources, okay, where you don't even need a river, all you need is a spring. You understand? And then over time, that the capacity that you'll be able to hold, and you have what you call gravity from there, that will cost you less in bringing water to different homes, okay? So there's so much that can be done. But the government allow to facilitate those hotels to go to Dominica rather than do what it takes to keep that money in St. Lucia. And that is what that has been happening under this government.
Okay, very soon, very soon, do you anticipate that a group of St. Lucians, out of frustration, will do the same thing? Say, let's import some water. Let's hire a badge and import some water. No. Let's say...
But they start the trend.
Ordinary St. Lucians can end up doing that. And that is the response.
Not just ordinary St. Lucians, ordinary businesses in St. Lucia owned by St. Lucians, because they are the ones with the capacity. They will eventually do it, because it will be cheaper for them, as they have claimed to just do that. You understand? But it is not. We have the water, It's not that we don't have it. We're in the drought right now, and a lot of people will take their big bottles and they go in the forest and fill their bottles, getting spring water. You understand? Yet still that same water cannot find itself in our pipes. What does it say? It does not say that the drought is what's affecting us. What it says is management of our water sources that is affecting us. That is the problem. Il est top source de gâtier avec tous ces côtés salatim. Pour ça, develop un tank bagay in place koto sa harvest glosa la. Because kote kiten tout ces jardins ça majorité de ces côtés ça pas ni jardin encore. So parler by ces landowners là, find out koto sa acquire land dans ces area ça et mettez ces storage facilities ça à côté où ça joindre glo. Vous comprenez? Et si on est pour prendre glo là pour transport li monter en l'embadge, il can still coûter pays à plus cheap passer pour ay point Dominique. Mais tout bagay gouvernement ça ni pour faire c'est by foreigners li. Yo te di FFF en bas l'autre gouvernement mais c'est right now man ka FFF. Tout bagay airport seaport tout bagay by a foreigner because yo pa manage yo fin. Have a good day team.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Are we scheduled for another commercial break? Yes, we do. The broadcast will continue a bit with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. And we also have the Newspin question of the day and the Newspin news of the day as well.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastush Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, cast in sand and plaster in sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastush Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastush Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true. With a mortgage built around you, tailored to make sure everything's smooth. 100% financing, it's true. Get a first wish mortgage, it's the best move. Get your mortgage now and fulfill your first wish. Just knowing that First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true.
Visit your First National Bank branch or firstnationalbankonline.com to apply for your first wish mortgage.
La Clinique de Corps leads the Caribbean in advanced MRI, aligned with globally recognized standards. Avoid overseas stress, delays, and cancelled scans. Reports in 24 to 48 hours. No translation, no overseas processing. Your doctor receives your imaging directly for seamless continuity of care. All major insurance accepted. Call 451-6559. Once again, 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. The WhatsApp number 721-9950.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
The Roadhouse Experience awaits. Crave something real? Get ready to experience the ultimate destination for unforgettable memories. The Roadhouse Experience. Feast your senses with exceptional service, all under one roof. From our classic restaurant and bar to our exclusive private nightclub, and wines at our elevated hookah bar. Gather in our versatile conference room for any event, or even shop at our variety store. Ditch the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Raj Roadhouse promises real vibes, real fun. Nestled in cul-de-sac along the Bexar Highway. Call us at 286-6249 for more information.
Lucelec would like to inform customers that its automated account inquiry service at 457-4433 is temporarily unavailable. Customers are encouraged to sign up for the free Lucelec My Account online service at myaccount.lucelec.com for access to their account information, including their bill balance. Customers may also call or WhatsApp 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, or email customer support at lucelec.com for assistance from the Lucelec Customer Service Department. Lucelec deeply regrets any inconvenience this may cause and thanks customers for their understanding and patience.
Are you a young poet with something to say? Then this is your moment. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank presents the 2026 Creative Youth Competition in Poetry, calling all secondary schools and college students from across the 8 ECCB member countries. If you're between the ages of 12 and 15 or 16 and 20 years old, this competition is for you. Express yourself on powerful topics like Voices of a Changing Caribbean, Becoming Me, Exploring Identity Growth and Self-Discovery, and Through My Own Eyes. Let your words inspire. Massive prizes to be won. First prize, $3,000. Second prize, $2,500. And third prize, $1,500. Entries close on March 31st, 2026. So don't wait. Start writing today. For more information, visit www.eccb-centralbank.org. The 2026 Creative Youth Competition. Your voice, your story, your future.
Let's continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let's see if somebody has a WhatsApp message, and somebody says there, tell Wasco it's not a favor they're granting us. 2 weeks now, no water in Labon. Rick Wayne is back on the line. Good afternoon to you. 2 minutes to you, Rick.
Yeah, I know. I'll be very quick. Timmy, we just had a very good contribution by a gentleman there. But even that contribution is poisoned with that we can't get off, that some things must be a common cause. What is this nonsense that I don't mention Pip because he's my friend? This is so stupid. What I said was very, very clear. Our problems with water go back forever. We have been tolerant of mediocrity as a people, tolerating people who are in charge of water, going back to the days of Compton. How does that let Pip off the hook? And Pip has been in government longer than just Prime Minister too, you know. So I blame every politician. In fact, I actually said the politicians, and we allow the politicians who are far more stupid than we are to control our lives. So what is this nonsense you want me to say, Philip Pierre did this? I'm not into that crap, man. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much, Rick. We'll take a final call, and then we'll have a final update from you, Jante. In the meantime, our Newspin question of the day. The Newspin question of the day reads, why no specifics regarding St. Lucians in the Middle East? Why no specifics regarding St. Lucians in the Middle East? The Newspin question of the day. And that question, of course, was posed to the Prime Minister of St. Lucia regarding the number of St. Lucians who might be in the Middle East at this point in time, considering the turmoil that is taking place there involving Iran, the United States, and also Israel.
How many locals, if any, are in the Middle East, and has the government had the need to bring any locals back home as of current?
How many locals in the Middle East would be a challenging question, unless they declare themselves That's very challenging. People go to the meetings all the time, and nobody knew. I mean, some people nobody knew that the war in the Middle East would have happened at this time, and no one knew that these other countries would have been affected. The Ministry of External Affairs, they've reached out to people who they can find to take them home. I know the government of Barbados and St. Lucia subscribed or promised to subscribe to any form of transportation. In that case, they were speaking about a charter flight for St. Lucians who could be identified to come back home. The government of St. Lucia promised to subscribe to that flight. But in terms of numbers, we're not clear, but the Ministry of External Affairs is working on bringing anybody that wants to, basically wants they can come back. You heard about the West Indies cricket team. Hope I don't get blamed for that. The West Indies cricket team had some issues in coming back. So we will work we'll work with the airlines once we identify the people who said they want to return. But as to numbers, I am not clear as to the numbers.
But in this part of the world, we have people who are representing us. I remember that we have ambassadors. They're not taking our calls. Some of us in the media who are calling those ambassadors, but we have those people who should be looking after the interests of St. Lucians there. In the case of Trinidad, you hear that there are over 200 nationals in the Middle East. You hear, for example, in the case of Antigua, they have got in contact with at least 10 Antiguans. You hear the numbers in the number of the islands. But as for St. Lucia, our Prime Minister does not know at all. He can't even give you a ballpark figure, give you 10 or 15 or 11, etc. Nothing at all. But I'm aware that there are some St. Lucians who are in the Middle East right now and they are stranded. You have St. Lucians here who are very much concerned about their friends and their relatives. That might not be a significant number, but there are a few such St. Lucians there. Let's find out from you, Jati, what's happening with regard to comments in the chat rooms, and then we'll conclude with our Newspin news of the day.
Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, I work with a company with the expertise of making water. We make water in areas way hotter and with less rivers than St. Lucia, and the water has yet to run out. Another YouTube comment reading, Caller, I think our water needs 30 years into the future. With the effects of climate change, St. Lucia will need to vastly increase the water storage capacity. Proper management includes strategic planning. On Facebook, our first comment says, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the PM state that it would take 200 million to get the dam up to par? All jokes aside, these ministers are an embarrassment to St. Lucia. We have another comment saying, this government is the most protected ever. The hacks don't want them to be blamed for a thing and take responsibility for nada. How is it this is governance? That's complacency, and it comes at a time where it is detrimental to all of us. Another comment here saying, Philip Pierre continues to blind the people just like Kenny did when he was in Parliament, building empty buildings to fool the ignorant people. So right now, St. Jude's Hospital and the Grizzly Police Station are just a few examples. Why people not planting more trees? Jobs for their friends and families. Lol, leave Rick alone. He didn't ask St. Lucians to vote for this government. We have another comment reading, the coupe par coupe trees, just cutting trees without replanting others are a major factor. As SLP comes into power, the rivers suddenly ran dry. Trucks are trucking millions of gallons of water from the east, west, and south of St. Lucia to the north. We have water in St. Lucia. Quas Glow and SL Pui have not managed the water infrastructure in St. Lucia at all. We have more comments here saying, that is true, but we also have been reckless with our water management from forestry to Wasco. So St. Lucians don't know the Labour Party is a failure to them. We have a water catchment right in Laguerre, and nothing is being done with that place. And our final comment saying, Sir John was a farmer, so he knew the value of agricultural investments.
Thank you so much, Jante. Somebody says via WhatsApp, Tim, the forest in Saltibus has enough water to supply Labrie and Choiseul. So I'm inviting Philip JP and his crew for a site visit. I can't find Kifo anywhere to take him there. Another WhatsApp message. It says there via WhatsApp, Tim, Rick can jump high, he can jump low. He's not mentioning Philip's name. He went right back down in Compton. Tell him to mention his part because he's part of all of what's going on there. No doubt Rick will be calling. That's a setup, by the way, Rick, so that you can call and clear your name tomorrow on our program. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message, a final one to go through before we present to you our Newspin news of the day. What are you saying there? I definitely have relatives living in the Middle East, especially Dubai. Marcellus and Patricia Phillips and family. That's according to a WhatsApp message. All right, we turn our attention now to our final feature, which is the Newspin news of the day. The Newspin news of the day reads, Cuba restores power after 29-hour blackout amid U.S. oil blockade. Cuba restores power after 29-hour blackout amid U.S. oil blockade. That's the Newspin news of the day, bringing to a conclusion another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.